If you did problem 29, good for you. If you couldn't get it, if you tried it and couldn't get it, good for you. If you didn't even look at your homework last night, bad for you. But we're going to do number 29 right now. So 29 says the fourth term is -8. Now I am going to write that in the actual notation. The fourth term would be A sub 4. That's what the fourth term means. That's how we write it. And the seventh term is 4. So if I drew a picture of this, it would look like this. First term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term, seventh term. This is the sequence of numbers. Yesterday, every sequence we looked at, we started with the number. We didn't have all this stuff ahead of it, right? But here I've given you, or they've given you, a couple of middle terms in the sequence. And your job is, first of all, to find the first term. That's the first job you have. Okay? Now, there are a couple of ways you can think about this. One thing, you could, well, who had an idea? Did somebody have an idea? Jack?
If you're going to, like, go left to right, subtract 4. You subtract 4 each time. Like you get, you have 4, you go down to 0, and the next one you have -4, -8.
So you found the common difference.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I looked at it and
Okay.
common sense.
Okay, that's okay. That's
right.
always legit. Looking at it, trusting your gut feeling, trying to reason it out, that's great. And perfect. But some of us need like something to write down so we know what we're doing. So can you think about maybe what you were doing in your mind? Can you formalize that a little bit?
No.
Okay, let me help you out. Let me help you out. If I wanted to, just for the time being, let me forget about all this stuff here. I don't know what it is anyway, so let me just forget it. And let me think about this as my first term. Now, if I thought about this as my first term, because it's the first term I know, then this would be second, this would be third, and this would be fourth. So if I think of this as the first term and this as the fourth term, just temporarily, and I have a formula that looks like this, could I say that the fourth term, A sub 4, is the first term plus the common difference times 3, 4 minus 1? Could I say that?
Wait, but how did you? Okay, yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Now, what is the fourth term? In my new setup, what's the fourth term? 4. What's the first term? Now, I don't know D. Jack has figured it out, but we're trying to show how we could get it mathematically. So now if I add 8, I get 12. And just as Jack predicted, the common difference is 4. Now that means that to get this next term, I add 4.
Yeah.
And to get the next term, I add 4. And to get the next term, I add 4. Now what about going the other way?
Subtract 4.
I would subtract 4. So this would be -12,
16,
-16,
20.
-20. So the real first term is -20. In terms of doing the problem, I faked it for a while and just looked at this part of the sequence.
On the test, we don't have one of those, right?
Yeah, and there's some on our practice sheet. We just haven't gotten to them yet.
Oh, sick, thanks.
Okay, so speaking of practice, let me give you a couple review problems. What did we do yesterday for review? Can somebody remember? Did they write it down? Okay. Okay, let me do this. Let me say that there are 30 students in the class. 4 don't like either math or English. 20 like math. 16 like English. Okay, so that's the given. Question is, how many like only math? Okay, so here's a review problem, keeping us fresh for our test on Tuesday. I have 30 students in the class. 4 of them don't like math or English. 20 of them say they like math, 16 say they like English. The question is, how many like only math? Okay, what's your strategy?
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
Can I go to the board, just knock this out?
Take it with them.
It's 2 circles, 2 people.
English, or let's do math first. Math, English. All right, now there's 30 people all together in the problem, right? Now, I've never done this before. I've never given you this kind of information. What do I do with that?
They're outside.
They're outside. So right from the get-go, there's 4 people who aren't really part of the problem.
So that was only 26 people.
Now there's only 26 people to be in these circles. These circles are going to represent 26 people. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So, the 4 kids who don't like anything, I've sent out to the hallway. So now there's 26 of you left. And I say, how many like math? And 30 or 20 hands go up. And how many like English? And 16 hands go up. Wait a minute, I have a problem. What's my problem?
More than
Ethan?
26. That there's multiple. That people voted twice.
People voted twice, which is okay. People can vote twice. Where do I put them if they
In the
vote
middle.
twice?
How did you know that
In
they
the
voted
middle.
twice? If there's 26 kids left and 26 hands went up.
20 and 16.
Oh, sorry.
20 and 16.
I'm going to come.
There's 36 hands went up, right? But there's only 26 kids in the room. What does that tell me?
You're double.
There's 10.
There's 10 kids that voted twice. Think. There are 36 hands that went up. There's only 26 kids in the room. 10 people voted twice. Which means, how many people are right here? If there's 20 altogether, then this has to be 10.
Yes, ma'am.
And if there's 16 altogether, this has to be 6. Now, the question said, how many kids like only math? The answer would be 10. Tim? Is it an emergency? All right. Now, next question. We'll do one more review problem. How many ways can I choose 2 juniors and 3 seniors from a group of 10 juniors and 10 seniors?
Can I do this on the board? I think I'm ready.
Okay, as long as you do it seriously,
Yeah.
neatly, and don't get it done.
Bless you.
Okay, so Jabron's putting the problem up there. Take a minute while he's writing it up here. Take a minute and see if you can figure out what it is you're doing.
So, I think we're going to need 2 problems, and since the order kind of matters, it's going to be P. Oh, we sure? All right. So I think it's going to be 10P.
If I'm putting together a group, does the order matter?
Best. 10P5?
C.
C, you're right.
Why 10?
Cause there's 10, oh, cause there's 10, oh, it'd be 20 C5.
Okay, now let's stop and talk about that for a minute. What would 20 C5 represent?
Everyone.
What?
Everyone.
The total number of ways that I can pick 5 children from this group. So if I have 10 juniors and 10 seniors, I got 20 kids, I'm obviously picking a committee of 5. That would be the total number of ways I could do it. Is that what the question wants to know? No. The question wants to know a specific situation. So here are my piles of people. I have 10 juniors and 10 seniors. How many do I want to take from my pile of juniors? For my juniors?
2.
2. So how would I do that? If there's 10 kids in this pile and I need 2, 10 C2. Yep. And times what? 10 C3. So the answer would be 10 C2 times 10 C3. Now, don't divide. Don't divide. I would divide if it said what's the probability,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. It just says how many ways. So 10 C2, those are my juniors, times 10 C3, those are my seniors. Okay?
Take the phone.
Good, thank you. All right, now, get out your note sheets. That's our review for the day. Get out your note sheets. Let's take a look at where we left off. Tonight's homework is posted tonight. Is actually not due until next Wednesday. Because remember, Monday we review again, Tuesday we take a test, so we won't get back to this until next Wednesday. Okay? So you could actually do it and then have a few nights off. Start studying for your test a little bit. Okay, where did we leave off? What are we ready for? Number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, this is exactly what we just did because of the homework problem. Look at number 4. It says you have an arithmetic sequence and you are told that the 4th term is 13, 4th, 5th, 6th, and the 7th term is 22. This is part 4, which is on the back of 62. It's an arithmetic sequence. There it is. They tell you the 4th term and the 7th term. And then they want you to find the 1st term and the 100th term. Okay? Now, it's arithmetic. So the formula we're going to use is our arithmetic formula that we got yesterday. Now, if we do this the way we did the one a minute ago, remember how did I do that? What did I do? What was my strategy?
Fourth term, first term. Yeah, that's
I
right.
just did it. No one remembers?
Use the 4th term as the first term.
Yeah. I forget about this.
Good, yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and erase it for a moment. And I look at this right here. Now, if that's all I look at for this moment, this little moment of time, if this is all I look at, this is the 1st term and this is the 4th term, right? And the formula tells me that the 4th term, this is the term number, the number of the term, n, number of the term. The 4th term is the 1st term plus the common difference times 3. N is 4, n minus 1. But I know my 4th term is 22, my 1st term is 13. Can I figure out my D?
Yes, ma'am.
So it looks like D is 3?
D3 football.
Now how does that help me?
Now
What's
you know
that
the
do for
difference.
me?
Now you can fill in the rest of the blank.
And remember, there were 3 blanks out this way. So if I want to fill in these, all I have to do is what? Add 3. So this would be 16 and 19 and then 22. But really, I'm interested in this guy. So I'm going to go backwards, which means I'm going backwards. Subtract 3. So this would be 10 and 7 and 4. So the real first term is 4. Now how will I find the 100th term?
You'll,
Yeah.
something.
I'll use my formula.
Yeah, plug in
The
100.
100th term is the first term, which is 4, plus the common difference, which you already discovered is 3, times n minus 1, which would be 99. So what is that, 301? Double check that arithmetic.
Calculation after verification.
Okay, quite a few steps to the problem, but they're not hard. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay. Okay, so this one, it says the third term is 8, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th term is 36. All right, and once again, we want the first term and the 100th term. All right, so what's your strategy, you guys?
I'm gonna take A3, my equation gonna be A3 equals, A1 plus B.
Okay, so we're gonna, there are 2 terms missing here, but I'm gonna forget those for a second. And this is gonna be my first term.
Yeah, I didn't know what else.
What will this one be then? This is first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yes, ma'am.
Now plug them into your equation. Your equation says, your formula says, the 5th term is the first term plus the common difference times 4. Don't be confused. The 5th term, n is the number of the term. 5th term would be the first term plus the common difference times 5 minus 1, which is 4.
Slightly.
Bryce?
Where'd you get the fifth term?
In the original problem, it was this, okay? This was the original problem. It said, here's the 3rd term and here's the 7th term or something, okay? I don't know anything about these terms. So I'm gonna just not look at that, and I'm temporarily only gonna look at this much.
Okay.
Now that means temporarily, this is the first term, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Temporarily. So the 5th term equals the first term plus the common difference times 4. I'm using the 2 terms that I have, which in my new system are 1st and 5th. So I'm writing an equation using the 1st and the 5th. So 36 equals 8 plus 4D. 28 equals 4D and D equals 7.
Okay.
Now remember, this is really the number we needed for the problem. So you can go ahead and fill these blanks in if you want. What you really need is to go this way. And when I go this way, if the common difference is 7, what am I going to do? Subtract. So this would be 1, and this would be -6.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So the first term is -6. Now can I find the 100th term? The 100th term will be the first term, which you know is -6, plus the common difference, which you know is 7, times 99.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? 687. These are definitely tricky.
But I'm ready.
Okay, one more. What's the sequence look like this time? Well, it says the sixth term, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth term is -1, 7, 8. Ninth term is -10. So that's what it looks like in the original problem. I don't know anything about any of this. So I'm just going to chop it off and look at the part I know something about. The two terms I know. If I do that, if I just chop it off and say, okay, I don't even care about all that stuff, then this becomes my first term, and this becomes my fourth term. Would you agree with that? Now I'm going to write an equation using this formula. I'm going to write an equation that uses the first and the fourth. Those are only two I know. So I'm going to say the fourth term equals the first term plus the common difference times what?
3.
3. And we got 3 because n is 4, so n minus 1 would be 3. Now, our fourth term is -10. Our first term is -1. We should be able to do this. -9 equals 3d, so d equals -3. Now, what does that mean? That means that if I wanted to fill in these blanks, what would I do? Add -3. So -4, -7, -10. Great, except for those aren't the ones I want. This is the one I want. Because the problem says, find the first term.
So you have to minus negative.
So, if I'm going to go backwards, okay, going this way, I subtracted 3. So what am I going to do going this way? Add 3. So this would be 2, 5, 8, 11, 14.
Yes, ma'am.
So the real first term is 14. Can I find the 100th term? What would the 100th term be? 14 plus -3 times 99. And what is that, Brooke? -283. Have a great day. It's Friday. I need to hug you. Have a great day. Thomas, can you turn this off over there?
Yeah.
I know, I did it. You didn't lose it. No, it's that one. Oh, God, I'm afraid.